going on, you guys? It's your boy Patrick, aka Addicted to Combat, back for the recap and results of UFC Vegas 63, Calvin Kattar versus Arnold Allen, of which we only saw about one round of a potential 5-round main event at featherweight. Arnold Allen comes through, doctor stoppage on the part of Calvin Kattar's blown out knee, and this keeps on happening this year. This is another major main event canceled due to injury, and these things are starting to come in pairs. You know, we had Brian Ortega's shoulder dislocation in the summer at Long Island that canceled that main event in round one, followed up by the Tom Aspinall knee blowout the very following main event. It's starting to come in pairs again because last week we had TJ Dillashaw's shoulder injury, and now this week we had another knee. So next time I see somebody pop out their shoulder, I'm just going to automatically assume that there's going to be a knee blowout the following week. But all that aside, I did have a very risky strategy going into this fight card, so I knew being a sketchy fight card, this could go wrong even if I didn't parlay things, but I parlayed things and it went extremely wrong, mostly because of that main event and because of a very bad decision, too. I mean, Dustin Jacoby versus Khalil Roundtree. For Jacoby to not win that decision, I actually was doing a couple things. I was running some errands and whatnot and doing some traveling that day, so I was able to catch the Dustin Jacoby fight in its entirety, watch every second of it, and when it came to the final bell of round 3, I turned the broadcast off and I had to go drive somewhere else. So I just assumed I circled Dustin Jacoby on my bet sheet. I knew I had won that bet. I didn't even realize until like 15 minutes later when somebody blew up my Instagram that they had gotten the decision the other way somehow. So out of my time watching fights in my life, the tens of thousands of fights I've consumed, that's maybe one of the top 10 worst decisions I've seen. So aside from that, you know, the 6-leg parlay I had, the ones that I got wrong were, of course, Jacoby, Hooper getting knocked out. Obviously, those striking improvements defensively were not made that we kind of assumed he had made. And Steve Garcia just bum rushed him in round 1. Very impressive there. So Hooper got knocked out. Jacoby got robbed. And then the Calvin Kattar loss as well. I mean, that was something that's just very hard to predict. You know, he planted that right leg. I forget which sequence. I forget if he was throwing a knee or something like that. I remember him planting that right leg, and then he had that lateral movement, and it just sheared his knee right apart at the end of round 1. So things we knew weren't going to get much better than that, and it buckled in the following round. Other than that, yeah, Waldo Acosta came through. Max Griffin, another split decision that should have definitely not been a split decision. It should have been 2 rounds, to 1 at worst for Max Griffin. That came through. And of course, Christian Rodriguez had a very quick day in the office as well. So to get 3 out of 4 on that one, 3 out of 6, should have been 4 out of 6 on that 6-leg parlay. Not bad. I did advise that you could play these straight up without parlaying them. So what we were going to have at the end of the night was Calvin Kattar hopefully coming through to redeem some of this loss, but the injury forced him out. So just an unfortunate night. Everything fell apart that I had. Even the Arlovsky money line is my only money line. You know, the one thing you didn't want to happen was him to get bonked in the head in round 1. And he got bonked in the head in round 1 and then got club and subbed. So that happens. So nothing really hit. I was down minus 6.58 units. So we have to really dust ourselves off and get back to the rest of the fights in this streak, right? We've got UFC Vegas 64 next week, fun pay-per-view at UFC 281 the following, and then we have Spivak and Lewis in the main event the following week, another Apex card, I believe that one is. Yep, at the Apex on the 19th. So a lot of fun action to get things right, get back on track, and hopefully they get a new set of judges, because even as early as the Carlos Mota fight with Cody Durden, you know, where Cody Durden was able to out-wrestle him. I didn't have any money on this fight being short notice, but yeah, again, that should have been a 30-27 across the board for Cody Durden. It was like a 29-28 on 2 different judges' scorecards. Insane. I think Adelaide Bird was the only one who had that actually correct. So, you know, if she's the one getting things correct in a scorecard, it's going to be a shifty night. So, on to the next. I hope you guys survived that beating and a little bit better than I did. I saw a few people out there. Unfortunately, my boy Cody, Blood Money MMA Bets, his win streak got ended, and it was due to, once again, the Dustin Jacoby decision and the Calvin Kattar injury. So that's the part of the betting game we can't predict. You know, sometimes the poor judging and the injuries, but things bounce back our way as well. Sometimes, you know, like earlier this year, I had Jan Blachowicz in the main event. Rakic got injured in that one, so it was an easy night for me. And I've had decisions, that I probably shouldn't have earned go my way. So things will come back around for us, and we'll get right back in the winner's circle as usual. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with the full card breakdown for UFC Vegas 64. Amanda Lemos versus Marina Rodriguez. Very high-level women's strawweight action. Cheers.